Good evening. First up tonight, the latest on the region's water capacity crisis. A committee of regional councillors was told today that the concerns for Kitchener, Waterloo, parts of Cambridge and the townships, and the development freeze that's been put in place, while it's all dealt with, are already sending shockwaves through the local economy. CTV's Colton Wiens is joining us live now with more. You know, Colton, there really hasn't been a regional council or committee meeting lately where councillors haven't heard a sense of urgency about this.
Yeah, that's right, Tony. Tons of urgency was heard today as well, with pleas from two main camps. Local construction groups concerned the freeze in development could lead to layoffs and even cost the region projects altogether. The other was focused on groundwater and the environment. The region is now directing staff to better clarify what this water capacity problem actually means. Multiple warnings today to a committee of regional councillors.
I'm worried that if we don't have a solution within the next few weeks to at least lift some of these permits that are held right now, come fall is when we're going to have a real problem, which is when the layoffs will start happening in this area. That's very concerning for me.
The construction and real estate industries telling the Sustainability, Infrastructure and Development Committee the region's freeze on major development approvals because of a water capacity issue is making the area undesirable for work.
At the ICSC convention, which is an industry convention for real estate developers from all over Canada and the US, and it was a topic. Waterloo Region application pause was a topic of discussion at that conference. So I think that gives you a pretty good idea of how far-reaching and how powerful this stigma is.
And that it's already costing them projects.
We lost a 15-acre industrial land deal when the lender pulled the financing on a planned operations expansion by a local employer, specifically because of the uncertainty due to the Mannheim water issue. A long-term care operator that we were working with who was focusing on a site in the region to build a 256-bed facility has dropped that deal and is now exploring other municipalities outside of the region.
The region identified the issue in December, saying the current water system won't have enough capacity to serve the growing populations of Kitchener, parts of Cambridge, and the townships. Delegates at today's meeting arguing the ripple effect goes beyond that.
If you look at Bruce Nuclear, they're looking at significant expansion, no question about it. And in the meeting, it was said that there'll be no electrician jobs in Kitchener-Waterloo in the very near future, so they will be able to pull everybody out and move it through. That'll decimate our industry.
The Waterloo Region Home Builders Association told committee the freeze has an immediate risk to projects and the 24,000 people employed in construction.
The Greater KW and Cambridge Chambers of Commerce have already advised that the freeze effectively hangs a sign on Waterloo Region that says closed for new business.
Delegates from both industries asking the region to keep them involved and informed on solutions. Others raised environmental concerns, urging the region to protect groundwater, which is critical to the system.
Your own third-party report is blatantly clear, starting right on page 3, that in 2023, 2024, and 2025, unsustainable levels of water was pumped from the Waterloo Moraine, lowering aquifer water levels faster than they can be replenished.
A hydrogeology group told committee they don't believe there is a groundwater issue, but instead treatment isn't happening fast enough and the model the region is using isn't the right way to do it, arguing the real numbers would show there's enough capacity to approve projects right now. Regional staff say it's a little more complicated than that, saying the area has seen average water demand higher than what's sustainable and that while the community can pump at higher rates, it's not sustainable. Now, the committee also approved several motions during the meeting that will impact this issue. First, Councillor Joe Gowing suggested for a formal review of the groundwater supply to find ways for long-term protection of it. That was approved. Then committee approved a motion from Councillor Barry Verbanovic for the region to work with municipalities on a risk-based approach, so up to 50% of the projects that are planned for the next 5 years can be approved. And committee asked regional staff to draw up a report to clarify the suggestions from the community on the capacity constraint itself. That work will be done and is expected to be taken up later this month. Tony.
Okay, so some late decisions there. We'll have an update, of course, as well later tonight. Colton, thank you very much for a busy day on the water capacity issue.